Hey Shakers, welcome to Handshaking, where Matt Holmes interviews top entrepreneurs on one personal branding tip you can implement instantly. That means today. That means right now, right this very second. And if you need help with launching your personal brand, go to handbrander.com.
What's up, Shakers, and welcome to the Handshaking podcast, where we interview top entrepreneurs on one personal branding tip for you to take action on today. Today, we're here with Jessica Rhodes, the founder of interviewconnections.com. Jess, welcome.
Welcome. Thanks for having me.
Now, are you a podcast host too?
Sometimes I have you're in my booth here at Podcast Movement, so I feel like I should be welcoming you.
Of course. And Shakers, we're at Podcast Movement, which is an annual gathering of 1,500 podcasters here in Chicago this year. And actually, we're like filming, recording 12 episodes today, or this podcast.
Producer, you.
Otherwise, it's not happening. So we're pumped to have Jessica here. Interview Connections is a premier source for booking outstanding podcast guests. And Jess, to get us started, in 2 minutes, could you tell us a little bit about your background?
Yeah, I started my business when I was pregnant with my son to be a stay-at-home mom. So one of the first things I was doing, I started a virtual assistant business. And my dad was my first client. So I was booking him for podcast interviews, started working with some other clients, and realized there was a really big need in the podcast marketplace for a guest connector, somebody to book people for interviews on shows and to help podcasters find great guests. So when I saw the need and when I decided I wanted to grow my business more than I could just work a few, hours for clients, I created interviewconnections.com, and I've grown out a team around me to work one-on-one with clients. So we book thousands of interviews a year on podcasts.
Amazing. So let's talk a little bit about how personal branding helped you as an entrepreneur. First, could you tell me when you started taking personal branding seriously?
Yeah, it was about a year ago. I started taking personal branding seriously. I, had been doing videos and podcasts and getting myself out there, but it was all kind of under the Interview Connections brand and a really crappy blog. So I worked with a graphic designer. I got a logo for Jessica Rhodes. So now, I have interviewconnections.com and that whole design and color scheme, but I also have jessicarhodes.biz with my own branding. I have a little logo, a little JR tag, and I have a hashtag, Rock the Podcast. So that's really when I started taking personal branding seriously. It's funny being here at Podcast Movement. I have my stand-up banners with my photo on it. And for some people, it's kind of silly, but you know what? Personal branding, putting yourself out there as the expert, that's what works. That's what grows your business.
Couldn't agree more. I think it was John Lee Dumas who I heard say it once. Actually, it was Gary Vaynerchuk. He said that, if you're passionate enough about what you're doing, you have to put it out there. No one's going to put it out there for you. So good for you for putting yourself out there and trying to help people. Next question is, what changed in your life? Why did you start taking personal branding seriously?
I realized that I needed to position myself as the celebrity. I don't have a personal branded business. Like Interview Connections is, it's a team, it's a service, but people are attracted to the business when they know the person who runs it and who has founded it. And I see that with other, guest booking companies popping up, and people go to the website and they're like, I don't know who's behind this, like who's running this. A lot of my clients come to me and they might not even know the name of my business, but they were referred to Jessica Rhodes. And so that's really powerful when you have a personal brand and you're getting out there personally. People are attracted and they want to work with you. And, even if you're not the best in the business, which I am, but even if you're not the best in what you do, if you have that strong personal brand and people are, you're relatable and people look up to you, they will want to work with you.
Absolutely. In a time where we can tell if Taylor Swift is the one actually taking a selfie on Snapchat, or if it's, her brand manager,
yes.
It's a time for transparency and authenticity, Shakers. Couldn't agree more with you, Jess. So in terms of how you started launching your personal brand, what was the first step that you did?
Well, I would say the first step was before I know I said I started taking it seriously when I worked with a graphic designer and got my logo and all that. But it was really when I started doing my weekly videos in April of 2014. And that's when I first started getting myself out there, giving those tips and positioning myself as the expert.
Awesome. Could you tell us a quick story or something that really beneficial that happened due to you having a strong personal brand?
Well, I have this one memory of being at Social Media Marketing World a year ago, and I'm friends with Cliff Ravenscraft, the podcast Answer Man, and what really struck me and was a big light bulb of the importance of a personal brand is he didn't remember the name of Interview Connections, but he talks about me and refers people to me. I mean, that's the power of a personal brand is he remembers Jessica Rhodes, but he doesn't necessarily remember the name of the company that I own. So when you have that strong personal brand and when people remember you and your name, you're going to get more business. You're going to get more people being referred to you. So, yeah.
Absolutely. So since we still have a little bit of time left, I want to dig a little deeper into one of these topics. You and I are both entrepreneurs with small teams, but growing teams. How does personal branding play into the role of your team members?
The role of my team members. What do
Should
you
they
mean?
have strong personal brands? Do they?
Yeah. So, I mean, some of my team members have their own businesses. And like, Kelly, who is here with us, she has a blog called Big Curvy Love. So she has her own personal brand out there. Some of my other, Margie, who she's a Beachbody coach. So she's out there online with her own personal brand and personal development. And some of my team members are very much behind the scenes. And you're not really going to see them online as much. And they're behind the scenes. But did that answer your question? I'm not really sure.
I think so. I'm just very interested,
But I will say, Matt, that I also market and publicize the fact that I do have a team because I think that's very powerful. It shows that we do have a good business. It's not just me working with 10 people. Like we, work with dozens and dozens of people. And so like on our website, on our contact page, we have a team, we have a graphic and it shows all of our team members and it shows that we do have people behind us. And I want to show our team's faces. And it also in an online world where a lot of like virtual assistants and team members are in the Philippines, which, okay, there's nothing wrong with that, but there is value, I think, in working with a team where, they speak the same language and they're up at the same time as you in terms of time zone.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. You got to have team members that you are proud of, and your team members should be proud of, working with you.
Yeah.
And if everyone has a strong personal brand, that's only more of an audience for your business that's built in as you're growing a team.
And there's also power in that people know my team members. They're like, oh yeah, I talked to you got together with Margie. People know Kelly. When they know the team members, it just gives it a bigger feel and it makes it more of a powerful presence online.
Yeah.
And in person at conferences.
Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the one action item for the Shakers when it comes to personal branding. In specific, what do you recommend our listeners do?
I would recommend video marketing. I think that is the one thing that people can do to build their brand is to do videos on a regular basis. There's so many different ways you can do it powerfully. I mean, obviously there's Snapchat, there's Facebook Live, but actually doing videos, and I know this is something that you recommend, you're the video guy, but, actually getting them up on YouTube, putting them on your blog, having, I know you asked for one thing. So videos is the one thing, but there's so many different ways you can leverage that. People feel like they know you when they see you on video.
Absolutely. So let's dig a little deeper. Exactly what type of video should they start with?
So I do weekly, 1 to 2 minute videos with a quick tip. And they used to be a lot longer, but I think it's important to keep an eye on people's attention span. People really don't want long videos anymore. I mean, look at Snapchat. They're 10-second videos. People just don't want anything longer than that. So, something with an actionable tip, 1 to 2 minute weekly videos with something that is very directly relatable to your audience, I think is a great way to start.
Okay, there it is. So film your first or keep filming your videos of quick tips on 1 to 2 minute Shakers.
Mm-hmm.
Did I get that right?
Yes, exactly. And if I could give one more tip, I recommend, especially with videos, introduce yourself at the end of the video. People don't care who you are unless they actually like the content that you're giving. So, I mean, if it's quick, saying your name, like I usually say, I'm Jessica Rhodes, I'm here to help you rock the podcast from both sides of the mic. I mean, that's less than 5 seconds, so I do that. But if you have a whole long intro, wait till the end. Give your tip and then say, I'm your host, blah, 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 and this is my website. So...
Yeah, that's great advice. Heck, we should. It's like the best is to just start with something that's talking directly to them.
Get into the content. People are really impatient if they've never heard of you before. They don't care about who you are. They care about the information that you're bringing them.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Jess, before we wrap up, where can we find you online?
You can go to jessicarhodes.biz, B-I-Z. My last name is spelled R-H-O-D-E-S, and that's my home base. You can find all of my videos, my blogs, my podcasts. Everything is there, jessicarhodes.biz.
There it is, Shakers. Check out Jess, and thank you so much for tuning into the Handshaking Podcast. We know there's a lot of free content out there. Thank you so much for tuning in. I and Jess appreciate you very much. Talk to you very shortly. This is a podcast. No. Okay, see you soon. Bye.
Whoa, Shakers. There it is. Take action today and keep up with the hustle. Don't forget to check out handbrander.com. And on behalf of Matt and the entire Handshaking team, thank you for listening. I love you.